Welcome back. Well, in other news today, the Co-operative Governance Minister, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, is in the metro of Mangaung for an oversight visit to follow up on the other interventions her department has made there. But it seems what is really factional fighting is not stopped. From what I understand, the acting city manager was physically dragged from his office by the mayor in that metro. Some of the municipal buildings have been occupied by an organisation calling itself the Service Delivery Forum. Professor Setleho Matabisi is the academic head of department and associate professor in sociology at the University of the Free State. This is about the city in which he lives. Professor, good afternoon to you. This really looks like a mess. What is going on in Mangaung?
Hi, good afternoon, Stephen, and good afternoon, South Africans. If this is not indicative of the chaos that we South Africans find ourselves at the hand of officials masquerading as, I can't even describe this, but for me it's a complete failure of respecting the interests and the needs of the citizens of Mangaung. But this is also indicative of what is happening in our municipalities, where it seems as if some of these officials and politicians is actually a rule and a government upon themselves. And Stephen, very briefly, we should understand that your local government is one of the sectors that are highly legislated. So there is legislative certainty about what procedures need to happen, performance management and all that, but that seems to be non-existent. What is the priority for these officials and politicians? It's just how they can support one of their own and how they can fill their pockets.
I made the mistake earlier, Professor, and I must apologize for it. I thought that it was the acting mayor who actually removed him. It wasn't. It was the head of police there. My mistake. I apologize for that. But what is important here is that all of these people are in the same political party, right? These are factions in one party that end up using force against each other.
Yeah, well, the problem is we've got a situation where the municipality has now been placed under administration. But remember, initially it was a provincial intervention. And now we saw an intervention from national. But the fundamental problem is still there. And I can even predict, and South Africans will have to bear with me on this one, because I've got absolutely no other way. I may even put on other spectacles just to have a brighter outlook. But I can't foresee that after this intervention, there will be any tangible changes, because the problem is the people that have caused the problem in the first place will still be there. And that is where the problem is. You can go and look at all the other interventions elsewhere in South Africa. There has not been any tangible changes afterwards, because that is the problem. And in Mangaung, the problem is we've seen so many municipal managers. And this is indicative of infighting within the African National Congress. These changes that is taking place, or even what I would say forceful removal of people, it's not coming from the opposition. And I've got the privilege of driving past the municipality on a daily basis. And it has been shocking to see how the municipality has been cordoned off for the past 3 months. And we're talking about a municipal council that is not in existence for more than 6 months. So what is the issue? Why can't the African National Congress and its officials or councillors, at least in this regard, put the interest of the citizens of Mangaung first? Because this is clearly a case where infighting has now taken precedence over service delivery.
The Minister, Dr. Dlamini-Zuma, I mean, she is the Minister of Co-operative Governance. She's a national cabinet minister. Do you think anyone's going to listen to her?
No, not at all. I mean, we had the president and the cabinet here, and as I've indicated before, there was a provincial intervention. The visit by Minister Nkosazana Dlamini, one would have thought that at least it's not going to happen on the day that she is visiting Mangaung, but there it is, and this also, once again demonstrate the little respect, this disrespect that these people have for even our national officials. Now, the question is, what respect will they have for ordinary citizens like us? I mean, for me, it's a complete mess, and it's very unacceptable. I think we need much more stronger action than just an intervention by cabinet. For instance, people that do not perform needs to be removed. It's unacceptable. If you look at Mangaung over the past couple of years, it has actually regressed in terms of service delivery. Bloemfontein is a mess, and unfortunately, this is my take on this one. I cannot foresee a take. There might be improvement in certain areas, but the fundamental problem will remain, and it is almost like a disconnect between your officials and the citizens of Mangaung.
If you look at the politics of the Free State, in the local elections last year, the ANC got just over 50% of the vote. Now, local elections are different to provincial elections, but in 2 years' time, the ANC will go to voters in the Free State. I mean, could we see that actually the ANC maybe loses power in the Free State in 2024?
No, well, most definitely, and it's sad. It's a sad situation because the ANC only did after the Eastern Cape and perhaps KwaZulu-Natal in terms of electoral support we've seen. I mean, the ANC has always been in the province of the Free State, has always been an ardent, strong support base for the African National Congress, and quite shockingly, we have once again seen how the ANC have shedded electoral support in one of its strongholds, and this can be a precursor to what we can expect come 2024. And perhaps each time, Stephen and South Africans, when these things happen, it gives the officials and the politicians an opportunity to redeem themselves. But it seems as if because the cash cow, which I strongly believe that is a priority for some of these officials and politicians, it's still standing, and perhaps they want to see it collapse. And that is the problem. This situation will never be resolved up until our officials and politicians understand that. They need to obviously get away from this whole infighting. But remember also, we are on the eve of an elective conference within the African National Congress. And the problem is, once you've got officials who say, we are not going to support a motion because it's coming from somebody who is not within our camps, that is the nature of internal factional battles within the African National Congress. And whether we like it or not, they do have an impact on service delivery and on the livelihoods of citizens of this municipality.
Professor Setelejo Matabisi, thank you very much indeed, Head of the Department of Sociology at the University of the Free State. Just to reiterate, I said that it was actually the mayor in that wrestling match with the former acting city manager. It turns out it was the head of the Metro Police. Sorry about that. In a moment